You drop value every time you flood the market with yourself. Reputation behaves like currency. It is minted by restraint and destroyed by giveaways. When every question gets your instant answer, when every invitation gets your yes, when every complaint gets your time, you print more of your own face until no one respects the bill. Your words become small coins. People spill them without counting. A ruler preserves value by controlling supply of access, of explanation, of mercy. Fewer words, clearer edges, firmer terms. Scarcity is not cruelty. Scarcity is governance. Picture a mint inside your city. Every minute you stamp bears your seal. Attention, judgment, signature. If you flood the streets with fresh coin, prices rise against you. People ask for more because more exists. Your quick call becomes their new normal. Your one favor becomes their baseline. But when you ration the press, limited office hours, decisive memos, a calendar with guard posts, your coin hardens. People count before they spend you. Fortuna arrives as flood. She pours demands over the walls, pings, meetings, got a sec, tiny favor, pick your brain. She will train you to prove your usefulness by availability. She wants you always reachable, always explaining, always smoothing. This looks generous. It is how cities drown. Virtue is rationing with intelligence. You set quotas on your output, the number of meetings you'll take, the channels you'll answer, the hours your gates are open. You batch replies. You publish policies once instead of bleeding explanations daily. You hold office hours instead of hallway ambushes. Precision scarcity keeps the price of your presence high, which keeps order. The less you leak, the more force your appearances carry. The silent cost of availability is measurable like a ledger. Instant replies teach people that your time is the cheapest resource in the room. The lesson travels. Colleagues skip preparation because you will fix it live. Clients drift past scope because you will absorb the spill. Friends call at midnight because you'll pick up. You pay in fragments. 10 minutes, then 20, then half a day lost to quick. Soon your deep work is ransomed to other people's hurry. You look busy, but your state is weak. Busy states cannot choose battles. They get chosen by them. Endless meetings pretend to honor collaboration. They actually auction your sovereignty. You say yes to be agreeable. The cost is not the hour on the calendar. It is the energy tax before and after, the cognitive spin-up, the recovery, the displaced strategic thinking that never happened. Multiply that by weeks, and you have a treasury emptied by politeness. Free advice sounds noble. In power context, it is a subsidy. When you give expertise without frame, you invite disregard. The taker returns with more asks, not more respect. Better publish a playbook, set a slot, price your counsel, or trade it for specific commitments. Advice bought is advice used. Advice handed out is content. Silence is not absence, it is pricing. Delay is not weakness, it is curation. A disciplined pause sets the worth of your yes and sharpens the blade of your no. When you answer rarely but decisively, your sentence becomes a policy, not a volley in a chat. When you appear less, people prepare more. Make rules that mint scarcity without drama. 2 windows a day for messages, 1 day a week for meetings, no responses after a set hour. Public FAQs for repeated asks. A gatekeeper, human or scripted, that routes requests by cost and consequence. Pre-commitment forms for quick favors that require the requester to do work first. Standard contracts that price scope creep automatically. Mercy in private. Boundaries in writing, enforcement without apology. You fear being called cold. Understand the optics. Controlled supply reads as competence. Your allies will trust your time because it has weight. Your rivals will think twice before testing you because access is earned. Your citizens' team, clients, family will live calmer because your presence is predictable, not leaky. Abundance lowers respect. Scarcity trains it. Let your state breathe by saying less, later, and only where it counts. Protect the mint. Guard the gates. Spend yourself where the return compounds. Make yourself scarce, and your word becomes law. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see and few can feel. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few feel what you are. You want to be good, you want to be generous, open, always available, but in real politics, desire obeys scarcity, not abundance. When you pour without a cup, people drink without remembering the well. Illusion 1. Give more to be loved. Love without limits becomes expectation, not gratitude. The first time you stay late for a teammate, you are a hero. The 5th time, you are the one who can handle it. Your gift becomes an invoice you pay forever. A client says, "You saved us last quarter, can you match that price again?" A friend says, "You're the reliable one, can you pick me up?" A partner says, "You'd do anything for me, so you'll understand." In each case, generosity is not honored, it is budgeted. Reframe giving as a contract with terms, not a habit without breaks. Put language around your kindness. I can help for 2 weeks, then we reassess. This discount applies to the first project, not the next. I'm happy to drive tonight, next time we share the cost. Terms teach memory. Limits create gratitude because the gift is framed, not endless. When your help ends, the lesson begins. Your time is a resource, not rainfall. Practice visible accounting. Track favors. Name the exchange. When someone thanks you, convert praise into policy. If this helped, let's write it into the process so I'm not the emergency plan. When you give, keep an upstream motive, stability, learning, alliance, not the sugar rush of being adored. A ruler who gives to be loved is taxed by that love until the treasury is empty. Illusion 2. If they know everything, they won't betray you. Full transparency does not tame hunger. It feeds strategy against you. When rivals know your calendar, they book your fatigue. When they know your priorities, they decorate their requests to match your slogans. When they know your weak spots, they time the ask to the hour you soften. Argue for selective disclosure that shapes optics. Show competence in daylight. Keep vulnerabilities in shade. Share outcomes, not insecurities. Revenue grew 18%. Not I'm worried about churn. Publish clear policies, not your personal need for approval. Reveal timelines after agreements, not before. If a team asks for all your availability, offer windows, not your entire week. If a date presses for your whole history, answer with themes and boundaries, not raw files. The purpose of information is leverage, not confession. Design your surface. A clean dashboard, metrics, deadlines, roles prevents rumor while starving opportunists of your private levers. When you must disclose risk, pair it with mitigations and decision rights. You are not a mystery. You are a fortress with open gates at scheduled hours and guards who know your name. Illusion 3. Availability equals reliability. Constant access confuses responsiveness with importance. The boss who can reach you at midnight learns to value your midnight, not your mind. Friends who expect replies in minutes learn to expect you, not respect you. The rare bell rings louder. Scarce access signals wait. Establish controlled response windows and let them train perception. Answer emails twice a day. Keep meetings to blocks. Publish office hours. Turn off red receipts so you owe no panic. When someone says, "I need you now," verify the fire. Happy to help. What is the deadline? And what stops if we wait until 10 a.m.? Most fires are theater. The real ones will prove themselves with facts. Think of a doctor you trust. They are not instantly available. They are precisely available. Their time feels expensive and therefore meaningful. You can be warm without being on call. Send thorough replies over fast ones. Solve root problems instead of swatting gnats for applause. Reliability is keeping promises, not keeping the phone warm. Illusion 4. Early generosity sets culture. Premature gifts set a cheap market for your labor. The company that starts with unlimited favors never learns your true rate. The friend group that relies on you to plan every outing never learns to carry the load. The partner who receives grand gestures on day 3 assumes this is the baseline, not the celebration. Advocate stage favors, tied to milestones and reciprocity. In work, begin with a clear scope. Add bonuses after delivery meets the metric. If we hit X by Friday, I'll unlock Y. In friendships, rotate responsibilities by calendar, not charisma. In dating, trade investment at parity, time for time, effort for effort, disclosure for discretion earned. Make the latter visible. Each rung requires a step from both sides. Use pilots. Offer a small reversible gift with success criteria. If the other party performs, expand. If not, stop without drama. This protects you from sunk cost loyalty and teaches the world to earn upgrades. Generosity is strongest when it is scarce, scheduled, and specific. Underneath all four illusions is one law. People learn your price from how you sell yourself. You can be kind and still keep the price high. You can be open and still keep secrets. You can be responsive and still be rare. You can be generous and still make others qualify. Scarcity, not abundance, creates desire and respect. So rebuild your posture. Count your gifts like a treasure. Shape your surface like a diplomat. Guard your calendar like a sovereign. Give like an investor, not a fountain. When you feel the old impulse overgive, overshare, overappear, pause. Ask, what story does this teach about my value a month from now? Then set terms, then choose timing, then move. The well is deep because you stopped letting anyone bucket it dry. The garden blooms because you fenced it. The phone is quiet because your word is scheduled, not swallowed. Real politics rewards the one who knows when to open the hand and when to close the gate. Give with design, not desperation. Fewer gifts, firmer terms, higher worth. Count your coin, then count your leaks. If scarcity haunts you, it is not the market alone, it is your court. You keep losing value, not because you have nothing to offer, but because the wounded parts of you keep throwing gold from the balcony to win applause. You are not poor, you are poorly governed. Until you master the factions within, you will fund every passing spectacle and wake to empty vaults. Begin with the inner city-state. The people gather in the square, craving belonging more than bread. They whisper, say yes, stay liked, keep your seat at the table. They mean safety, but they bribe you with approval you must buy again tomorrow. Across the steps, the nobles preen, status, hunger, and silk. They want to be seen working, seen suffering, seen carrying the city on their back. In the counting house sit the clerks, rationalizers with neat columns who can justify any leak as goodwill. In the alleys lurk the mercenaries, impulse habits paid in dopamine, instant replies, vague yeses, emoticon diplomacy. At the gate wait the foreign ambassadors, internalized voices of parents, exes, bosses. Good people don't refuse. A request arrives. The people fear being disliked and vote yes. The nobles smell a spotlight and vote yes. The clerks draft a noble-sounding memo. The mercenaries take the coin and sprint. By the time you open your mouth, the decree is stamped. Name who overrode your boundary, and you weaken them. Ask before any promise, who is issuing this order? Now meet your quartermaster, humiliation. Not a general in plumes, but the keeper of rations. Old embarrassments inventory your worth and panic at the thought of appearing less. You were passed over once, so you now over-deliver twice to erase that memory. Someone joked that you were lucky, so you stay late to prove your labor is pure. You post your grind to buy witnesses. You pay old debts with new concessions and cheapen the throne each time. See how tribute works. A client hints you are slow. Humiliation empties warehouses. Free rushes, extra concepts, midnight edits never paid to promise. The city cheers your hustle and learns to expect it. Or a relative says, must be nice, and humiliation sends you to the kitchen, covering rides, sponsoring plans you cannot afford. You buy silence with coin you need for winter. Precision courage keeps the ledger closed. It refuses to spend public pain to purchase applause. It spends privately a clear price, a calm boundary, and no parade. Turn to pride's loud parade. Pride wants the balcony, the drums, the camera angle that catches sweat. It mistakes visibility for power. It says, post the before and after, announce the all-nighter, volunteer, first. But power is not noise, power is leverage quietly placed. The stone beneath the arch is silent. Quiet, ration moves buy more respect than public hustle because they conserve strength and deliver results. Audit your parade routes. You join every call so your name appears in the grid. You answer within 2 minutes to prove importance. You accept roles with grand titles but no budget. Replace parade with position. Decline meetings that don't shift outcomes. Answer in windows, not on impulse. Let your numbers speak in quarterly silence. A sovereign without spectacle has a city. A performer without coin only has confetti. Return to the counting house. The clerks will whisper that restraint looks rude. Rewrite the statute, generosity requires surplus. Without surplus, generosity becomes theft from the future. Make it policy to fund outcomes, not optics. If a task doesn't move the bridge, do not pour stone into it because the square is watching. When you ration visibility, you recover bargaining power and purchase respect with results. Now disarm the mercenaries. Mercenary coping looks useful because it moves. Doom-scrolling research. Instant replies called responsiveness. Vague yes to keep doors open, but when arrows fly mercenaries desert, they leave you with overcommitment, fuzzy promises, and a calendar you cannot defend. Replace them with a standing army, disciplines forged on quiet days and deployed without debate. Build protocols. Response windows. Email at 10 and 4, not all day. Decision ladders. If the request costs under 15 minutes, schedule it. If over, require a brief and a price. If ambiguous, delay 24 hours. Term sheets. Even for favors, write who, what, when, and how much, then sign with your time. Pre-written phrases that carry law across heat. That doesn't fit my capacity. Send scope and budget, I'll confirm by tomorrow. I can do A or B, not both. Exit routes. The door you can use, the call you can end, the silence you can claim without apology. Train drills until your tongue obeys. Practice no without rage, and yes without leakage. Rehearse. I appreciate the ask, I'm protecting focus. Rehearse, I won't be joining this sprint. Rehearse, happy to help, here are my terms. Write scripts for family, for teams, for yourself at 11 p.m., when shame and pride are loudest. See how the city changes. A manager pushes an extra deliverable Friday at 5. You answer during your window, request scope and timeline, propose a paid addendum or a Monday review. You keep your Saturday, deliver better on Tuesday, and your stock rises because your gates are made of law, not hope. Or a friend pitches a project that lives on your energy. New You offers a price slice with an end date. If they accept terms, you proceed. If not, you bless and decline. Belonging remains, leakage ends. Scarcity softens not because money rains down, but because leaks are sealed and every drop you spend moves weight. Real allies respect rationing. Opportunists prefer chaos. They will call you cold and leave. When your boundaries stop wobbling, prices rise. When prices rise, requests shrink, value stacks in quiet rooms. This is the turn from applause to architecture. The people want warmth. Give it in measured feasts. The nobles love banners. Reserve them for victories that fed the poor. The clerks write, let them record budgets you keep. The mercenaries exist. Pay them for scouting, never for defense. The ambassadors speak. Hear them, then stamp your seal, not theirs. Humiliation guards the warehouse no longer. Pride steps off the balcony. You convert spectacle into stores, noise into reserves, and the market storms into practice for your drills. When you can let a ping wait, let a stage pass, and let a doubtful eyebrow stay doubtful while you keep building, then wealth begins to stack in quiet rooms. Your gates hold, your city sleeps. I ration my worth. I rule my gates. A prince must learn how not to be good, and to use this knowledge, or not to use it, according to necessity. Monday begins with a calendar packed like a bazaar at noon. A client hints at a rush project. You agree. A friend asks for a 10-minute favor. You wedge it between meetings. A manager adds a stretch task. You nod because scarcity makes you nervous, and you mistake fullness for importance. 3 yeses before lunch. The city swells beyond its walls. By Tuesday, the road buckles. 2 deadlines slip. You soothe the crowd with bright promises. End of day, I swear. Blocks on the calendar march like soldiers, but soldiers tire. You switch windows until focus dissolves into a gray blur. Yesterday's phrasing becomes today's emails, dressed in exclamation marks to look alive. Work sprawls. Quality thins. Wednesday brings an ally who once trusted your word. You arrive late and explain the emergencies. They nod, but something cools. Faith drains by arithmetic. Promises made minus promises kept. More requests ping as you leave the call. Each packaged as small. Each priced at 0. You call it generosity. The Treasury calls it inflation. Thursday exposes you to the optics court. Messages go unanswered because you are in calls you chose. A stakeholder posts a public question you meant to answer yesterday. Someone else steps in and owns the credit while you type context no one reads. That evening, the friend you fit in complains, first gently, then sharply, that you forgot the favor. You apologize and stack interest on the debt. Friday, your name appears in 3 places at once, on a dock that needs revising, on a deck that needs polish, in a room you promised to attend. You are late to all 3. A small predator sniffs the pattern. He tests a push. Could you take this real quick? You're so good with these. He gets a yes. Another learns the rate. Praise purchases access. Another learns the loophole. Urgency overrides policy. By night, your city is bright with torches not your own. This is the concession cascade. Scarcity failed because you refused to enforce it. You believed goodwill would ration itself. Instead, you opened a market where your signature is free and your presence is cheap. Exceptions multiplied into expectation. Expectation hardened into custom. Custom became a map strangers used to cross your borders without paying the toll. You are everywhere, which means you are nowhere a ruler needs to be. Now optics, cold and unblinking. People judge what they see, not the speeches you give yourself in private. They see late replies, not noble reasons. They see diluted focus, not secret exhaustion. They see inconsistent policy, a no that becomes a yes under pressure, a boundary that dissolves at the first joke, a rule that bends for the charming and the loud. To the undecided, you look negotiable. Negotiable authority is not authority. Ask one question before every move. What does this signal to the undecided? A 10-minute favor that balloons to 2 hours says you cannot estimate costs. A cheerful acceptance of a rushed, underscoped project says you sell tomorrow to pay today. A scatter of half replies says you lack a spine of priorities. Meanwhile, one calm refusal delivered once and kept signals law. One delayed answer that arrives complete signals control. Bring the books. Count like a minister who knows love does not pave roads. Hours bled. 4 lost to switching costs. 2 rewriting a sloppy promise. 3 fixing errors born from speed. Projects delayed the compounding asset. Your own initiative pushed a week, then 2, then quartered into dust. Leverage burned. You taught requesters that last-minute access is cheaper than planned cooperation. Screenshots collected, late replies, midnight edits, cheerful concessions that become precedent. List the invisible deflation. Focus, the currency of deep work, loses value with each fraction sold. Reputation. Your credit line shrinks as lenders revise your score. A black market grows, people bypass your calendar and DM you because the Border Patrol rarely stamps passports. Soon, even your best effort buys less trust. You are paying for yesterday's softness with today's diminished rate. Translate the ledger into rationing. If a request yields no strategic return, charge full price, time blocked weeks out, clear scope, written acceptance of trade-offs. If someone creates false urgency, tax it with process, require a brief, a deadline that respects physics, and a consequence for change. If delay repeats, raise the cost or end the contract. This is not cruelty. It is fiscal responsibility for a state that intends to outlast the season. Now, the puppet moment. When others can predict your yes, they script your day, they arrange scenes where refusal feels rude. They speak the passwords, flattery, urgency, guilt, and watch the gates open. They do not need to conspire. They rely on your predictability. You become the instrument that plays the tune they like. Your calendar is their sheet music. Your time, their orchestra. By dusk, you are exhausted and strangely unseen, present for everyone, absent where a ruler must be. Cut the strings with policy delivered like steel in velvet. Write it in plain words you can use under heat. I don't overbook. Here is the next available slot. Rush work is possible at a rush rate. If the scope changes, the date moves. I keep commitments to existing projects. New ones queue, say it once, then practice the silence. Let the price be a message. Authority here is scarce on purpose. Train the city to see scarcity as design, not defect. Answer later and better. Finish on time and say no early. When you do say yes, write terms so even your future tired self can obey them. Refuse public contradiction. If you misspeak, correct once and move on. Do not let the square see you bargain with your own decree. The undecided will update their map. Your borders are real, your price is stable, your word a contract. By next Monday, you feel the difference. Fewer torches at the gate, fewer pings that expect instant grace. The predator looks for cheaper prey. The ally returns because allies follow reliability, like traders follow clean roads. Your state grows quieter, which in strategy is another word for strong. You sell fewer yeses at a higher price, and everyone understands the rate. Make the vow and keep it like coin. No more market where your signature is free. No more policy by panic. No more soft rebellion against your own schedule dressed as kindness. You are not here to be everywhere. You are here to govern the few things that compound into many. Protect the rate, protect the realm. Scarcity is not cruelty, it is statecraft. You tried to be adored and turned yourself into public property, always reachable, always explaining, always bleeding. The applause was loud and useless. Adoration consumed your hours and left your outcomes thin. Replace the aim of being adored with being trusted. Trust is a fortress. Its walls are rules. Its gate is time. You are not a street performer. You are a magistrate. Dignity over warmth. Predictability and boundaries outlast charm. Charm is a sparkler pretty in the night, ash by morning. Dignity is a lighthouse, unmoved by waves. Read from miles away. Care is clear terms, not endless access. You do not feed people with your mood. You feed them with your schedule, your standards, your record of delivery. If affection comes, let it come after the work is safe. Here is the difference. The charismatic manager answers every ping and walks the halls scattering compliments. For a season, morale dances. Then deadlines wobble, scope creeps, and the same people who adored the warmth whisper that nothing sticks. Contrast the dignified manager, office hours posted, response windows honored, agreements documented, handoffs verified. She smiles when she chooses, not when she is cornered. She is a metronome, not a jukebox. People build around her because she doesn't vanish when flattered or pressed. In your own life, this looks like gates and lanes. Gates, fixed times you are reachable, fixed rules for how work enters, fixed triggers that pause a conversation. Lanes, what you do, what you refuse, what you will revisit later. You become reliable by being slightly scarce. The rare resource is handled carefully. The faucet left open is ignored. Scarcity teaches respect. Respect preserves capacity. Capacity enables true care. Mercy with a budget. Generosity inside limits strengthens loyalty. Generosity without limits breeds dependence. A treasury that never closes is a treasury that soon cannot pay the soldiers. Your kindness needs accounting. Set a line item for forgiveness, for extensions, for second chances, visible, finite, fair. A client pays late. Warmth alone says, we understand, take all the time you need. Dependence grows. Dignity says, we offer a 7-day grace on day 8 service pauses. On day 15, a fee applies. You keep the door open and the frame intact. The client now knows what the city will do. They can trust it. The rule serves both sides and your mercy survives to help again. A friend spirals and calls at midnight 3 times a week. You care. You also protect the court. You set terms. I am available Sundays for planning and 1 emergency call this month. If you need more, I will help you find professional support. You are not abandoning them. You are refusing to let your roof collapse on both of you. Limits convert mercy from sugar into bread. Write mercy into law where others can see it. First, lapse, coaching and correction. Second, narrowed privileges. Third, measured consequence with a path back. Publish the latter. People should not win by crying louder. They should win by climbing the rungs. In such a city, loyalty deepens because the weak are guided and the strong are reassured that their effort will not be taxed by chaos forever. Silence as stewardship. Quiet gaps before decisions protect the institution and your reputation. Waiting raises the value of the word that finally arrives. You do not rush to announce. You prepare to be obeyed. In the heat of provocation, you choose shade, paper, and data. You gather the messages, log the times, separate rumor from record. Your silence is not frost. It is a reconnaissance drone circling the field. Picture the group chat at 11:07 p.m. Accusations, screenshots, a demand for your stance. The crowd wants a decree by 11:10. You reply at 11:12 with procedure, "We will review tonight and issue a statement at 9 a.m." Then you do the dull, powerful work. By morning, your words are a blueprint, not steam. The guilty are corrected precisely. The innocent are spared friendly fire. The onlookers learn how law sounds in daylight. Timing governs romance as well. A scalding text arrives. You do not duel with thumbs. You set a time, a place, and a rule. We speak face to face after work for 20 minutes. No accusations, only facts and requests. The night keeps its peace. The day carries the decision. Your restraint keeps both reputations intact, especially your own. Put it all together. Dignity over warmth makes you legible and hard to hustle. Mercy with a budget keeps your kindness alive for the winter. Silence as stewardship fortifies your words so that once spoken it does not wobble. You will be called cold by those who fed on your availability. Let them rename you. You are not cold, you are conserved. You are not distant, you are dependable. The city you govern, your time, your team, your home, will sleep because your walls stand. Replace the aim of being adored with being trusted. Scarcity is not cruelty. It is how you protect your capacity to deliver what matters. People will stop testing your temperature and start trusting your calendar. They will learn your gates and meet your terms. Those who refuse will drift to other fires. You will remain steady and solvent, able to pay what truly counts. Guard your capacity, deliver what endures. Men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. You live in a market of power. Your merchandise is scarce. Time, attention, favors, information. Treat it like gold coin, not confetti. The scarcity protocol turns goodwill into an economy priced, paced, and protected. So value rises, respect consolidates, and outcomes improve. You will run this like a city with gates, ledgers, and patrols. Begin with inventory and pricing. List your assets plainly. Time blocks the 45 minutes of true focus that moves mountains. Introductions. Your credibility braided to 2 names. Approvals, your signature that unlocks budgets and reputations. Public praise, your platform that mints status. Private counsel, your counsel that warms cold rooms and straightens crooked paths. This is what you actually sell. When you see the shelf, you stop giving away the store. Define price tiers to make access rules visible and defensible. Free, conditional, premium, free, office hours for your team, templates for the public, a short answer to a clear question. Conditional, introductions after a track record, feedback after a draft, priority response for those who met the last deadline. Premium, scarce rooms, strategy sessions, investor introductions, last-minute saves, paid in money, equity, or reciprocal leverage. Map, who gets what and why. The fox loves vagueness. The lion prefers borders. Set a budget cap to protect capacity and signal scarcity. Weekly ceilings for meetings, messages, and favors. 6 meetings max, 20 emails you answer, 2 favors you grant. Put it on a calendar. When the bucket is full, you schedule next week or say no slot. Limits look cold to the needy. They look sacred to the serious. Capacity is a fortress. Guard the gate. Build access architecture with a cool hand. Appoint gatekeepers, filters, forms, assistants to channel requests. A link for proposals. A 1-pager for new ideas. A short form for introductions asking for goal, timeline, and proof of effort. A gate is not cruelty, it is clarity. The ambush becomes an agenda. Standardize response windows to raise perceived value by controlled tempo. Email daily sweep. Chat 24 to 48 hours. A single emergency path defined and rare. Your calendar is a drum. Others will march if you keep time. When you answer everything instantly, you teach the market that your minutes are cheap. When you pace replies, you convert seconds into signal. Exercise venue control to preserve optics and records. Sensitive matters move from hallway to meeting, from DM to email, from public thread to documented ticket. Let's put this in writing. The sentence is a shield. Memory beats charisma on the day of dispute. Design the offer with surgical economy. Term sheets, not favors. Every yes carries scope, deadline, deliverables. I'll review 2 pages by Thursday, focusing on structure. I can introduce you to 1 investor after you send a concise deck and a traction summary. The specifics are fences. Without them, generosity leaks into resentment. Practice milestone generosity. Give in stages after proof, not before. You release the next block of time when the draft arrives. You send the introduction after the update shows progress. You approve the budget when the pilot hits its metric. A farmer waters fields that sprout. Reciprocity is a crop. You harvest what you cultivate. Use a face-saving no. Decline with options, smaller scope, later slot, or referral. I can't join the panel, but here are 2 names. Next month is possible if we narrow the brief. I'm not the right fit. Try this playbook. Deter entitlement without breeding enemies. Doors closed with courtesy do not become crowbars. Write deterrence and enforcement while you are calm. Prewrite the escalation ladder. Warn a boundary cost. Exit. Warning, this isn't within our terms. Please correct by Friday. Boundary. We'll pause until X is done. Cost. Further delay adds a fee and moves the date. Exit. We're ending this collaboration now. Best of luck. When pressure spikes, you read policy, not moods. Keep to the minimal force doctrine. Use the smallest decisive action that changes behavior. Remove access to a channel rather than explode in one. Shorten the meeting. Require agendas. Charge the modest fee that reminds people value costs. Peace remains purchasable when enforcement is precise. Maintain blacklist and whitelist honestly. Reward reliability with earlier slots, increase trust, better terms. Quarantine chronic takers in slower lanes with stricter requirements and no introductions. This is not revenge, it is hygiene. Access follows outcomes the way rivers follow gravity. Run the after-action review like an accountant. Update the ledger, time saved. Leverage gained, deals improved, green, yellow, red. Did the form filter junk? Did the cap protect deep work? Did the term sheet prevent creep? Track the ROI of restraint. What you measure strengthens. What you ignore becomes a leak. Revise orders. Rewrite failing phrases. Change no worries to not within scope. Retire leaky channels that invite 3 a.m. drama. Promote routines that work Monday office hours. End of day email sweep. Friday ledger review. Continuous improvement is not romantic. It is sovereign. Train the shadow that confuses access with worth. Practice humiliation drills. Delayed replies and a public not now. Let a message sit while you breathe. In a meeting, say, we'll schedule this after we review the queue. Feel the heat of approval, panic, and hold position. Courage grows in the pause. Run status fasts. Schedule invisibility. No posts. No instant replies. Tell your team the window and keep it. Watch the itch to be reachable fade. Your esteem detaches from the doorbell. When you return, your yes is clean and your no is respected. Pay a pride tithe. Give timely credit to allies to convert ego into coalition strength. Praise by name the analyst who found the flaw, the assistant who organized the sprint, the partner who delivered on time. Credit is cheap to give and expensive to buy later. Scarcity without gratitude rots into arrogance. Gratitude oils the gears. This is the scarcity protocol. Inventory defines value. Pricing makes it visible. Caps protect the mint. Gates turn chaos into queues. Tempo turns seconds into signal. Venues turn heat into record. Terms stop leaks. Milestones teach reciprocity. Courteous no's conserve peace. Deterrence shapes behavior. Lists align access with results. Ledgers prove the math. Revisions refine the machine. Drills harden the ego. Fasts free the spine. Tithes feed the alliance. Your supply becomes a governed city. Fewer doors open on impulse. More doors open on merit. Guard the mint. Raise the price. You do not need more noise. You need a narrower gate and a stronger wall. Peace is purchased by limits. You ration what you give so you can protect what you build. The city learns your rhythm. Fewer openings, clearer rules, quieter streets. Partners line up because your word is rare, and therefore weighty. Scarcity is not stinginess, it is governance. You stop scattering attention like coins in a parade. You fund what keeps the streets lit and the ledgers clean. You accept that every yes dilutes the currency of your name, so you mint fewer of them, and each one buys more. Hard to access, easy to trust. That becomes the new reputation, and it travels faster than advertising. You stop taking calls with no agenda. You end meetings the moment the objective is met. Your calendar is not a public square, it is a fortress with visiting hours. When someone demands instant answers, you offer a time and a standard, not a scramble. Your speech grows shorter, your policies longer. You publish what you tolerate, what you reward, what you refuse. You say no more often, and your yes gains weight. People plan before they knock. Even critics lower their volume. The door will open only for reason. Prosperity arrives through limits, with rules clear and access priced. Work finishes faster because interruptions die. You set response windows and defend them like walls. The team knows when decisions land, so they build instead of beg. Conflicts shrink because the law is known before the heat arrives. You do not arbitrate every quarrel. You enforce the posted rule. A client tries to widen scope. You point to the contract, then to the change fee, and finally to the calendar. Surprise stops being a tactic. Drama dissolves when costs are visible and rules are enforced. Scarcity held steady becomes fuel. Concentration rises, throughput climbs, error falls. Scarcity also turns into visible gains you can count. Time returns because you stop playing hero for every fire. Trust rises because exceptions are rare and explained. Performance climbs because attention is no longer auctioned to the loudest voice. Office hours published. Upgrades earned by behavior, not volume. Discounts rare, named, and never secret. Praise specific and tied to outcomes. Access tiered by relevance, not charm. You do not starve the city, you prevent the feast from becoming a riot. Because your door is not revolving, people value the minutes they are inside. They prepare. They bring facts, not fog. They leave with decisions, not more meetings. Now the oath. No more giveaways that drain the treasury. Only policies that raise value. You speak it like a ceremony and write it like a budget. You declare what you will fund first. Safety reserves, tools that shorten cycles, rituals that prevent fire. You declare what you will not fund. Vanity launches, rescue missions for chronic chaos, discounts that buy silence instead of loyalty. You set a cooling hour for anger and a cooling day for praise, so neither can sign contracts in your name. You codify penalties and mercies, both public, both consistent. You audit yourself by outcomes, not adrenaline. This is hope without hallucination. The world stays volatile. Your state becomes predictable. Streets quiet down because the watch is strict and the gates are guarded. Roads open because the toll is posted and fairly collected. Partners line up because the ledger balances and the promises age well. You do less, better. You answer fewer people, truer. The city grows stronger because you stop pouring from a bottomless cup that never existed. Peace does not arrive as a miracle. It arrives as math, as policy, as habit, as quiet strength. Guard the gate, raise the worth.